Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update and special report. And joining us today, I have, he's in the news a lot. I guess during this quarantine, people need some entertainment. It's my good friend Lee Priest. And we're joined also with Rob Mathis, who worked at Max Muscle Store in Venice, California there for many years. And he knows Lee for a very long time. Hey, Rob, is Lee a bully? Was he always a bully?
You know, when I saw that heading on Instagram, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? No, Lee is not a bully. Lee has never been a bully.
Is he a racist since you're a black man?
Well, considering he ran with a lot of brothers when he lived in Venice, I would say not.
He lived with Paul Dillette.
He lived with Paul Dillette. He trained with Kurt Miller, who's darker than I am.
That's right.
You know, and he and I were boys. He hung out with Greg Reed. I mean, you know, none of us are like soft, okey-doke black dudes. So
maybe he bullied you guys around though, and that's why you're afraid to say it.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Now, what we're talking about,
I was the big white slave master. Come on,
that's right, cracking the whip. What we were referring to, a lot of people may not be. I think everyone pretty much knows what we're talking about, but if you don't. Lee Priest and I did an Iron Rage this past week, and well, actually, it was a special report we did, and because Bob Ciccarello had basically called out Lee, saying that Lee, during the time when they were trying to organize a union, that Lee wasn't interested, didn't show up at the meeting, and basically Lee said that the reason he didn't show up at the meeting is because he hated Bob, basically, and that and at the time you also mentioned that you hated Generation Iron, who actually featured this interview with Bob that was putting you down. And all of a sudden, all this craziness came out on Generation Iron saying that Lee was a bully and that they actually, Lee, I've never seen in the history of covering our sport and the history of doing like going back and forth, you know, rants and calling out people. I've never seen anyone get someone's mother and actually put them up, put an interview of someone's mother up, you know, trying to use that as ammunition to say that there's something wrong with you. Now, I watched.
Vlad was trying.
I'll let you comment in a second. Let me just finish a second because I watched the interview with your mom, and the funny thing is that the title was something about you being a bully and why you were a bully, and she didn't even mention that you were a bully in the video. So I didn't really understand, you know, where they were coming from. With the fact that why you were a bully and who you, I don't even know who you're bullying, to tell you the truth. If anything, you're the underdog, you know?
I did. You know, he's trying to be like some psychoanalysis and just putting it out there. See, but you know, whoever this Vlad dude is, he's a weenie anyway. This is why when you're hurt, you hurt people. So Vlad, did Lee hurt your feelings? Is that what happened? So yeah, Lee, I mean, this is
What's Lee? What's your take on this whole situation? Because I'm like a little confused. I obviously they were pissed off that you called them out. First of all, explain why you don't respect Generation Iron and why you made the statements you did, because I don't think a lot of people know.
Okay, the people have said, Lee, how can you hate them? They did your documentary, which, yes, I did my documentary because I wanted to tell my life story from day one all the way through, and this bit had a throw in that Lee was bullied because my father was a homosexual. Rob can tell you from ever since I got to America, every interview I did, I talked about my father being gay.
You talk about it all the time on our show.
Exactly. That had nothing to do with it. I make gay jokes about it. First they say I'm a bully, then they say I'm racist and this and that. Rob can tell you, I'm the type of person, I've made racial jokes with Rob. We've had fun. We laugh. You can do that sort of thing. Even Craig, who from Generation Iron, who is black, when I was filming my documentary, he wanted me to go, when I go to America, he wanted to promote me in doing stand-up acts because he said I was so funny and this and that and all this sort of stuff. But going back to the documentary, they put Jay Cutler in it. Like, Jay and I know each other, like, hi, Jay, how you going, Jay, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You'd have people like Rob here that's been for years and years from day one when I first get to Venice. Kurt Miller lived with me for over 10 years, came to Australia, met my family. Mark Salvato was my manager. There was Mike Yabon that lived and worked at Gold's Gym.
Five Jacket Mike.
Yeah, Five Jacket Mike. Now, every time I see a picture, he's got his shirt off.
Yeah.
But all these people that knew me intimately, these people knew me intimately, lived with me, traveled with me. these people who knew me, they could have told the whole story about me, because I told them if they interview you, answer honestly, because from day one I've always told to be honest, tell the truth, never lie, and that gets you into all the trouble when you tell the truth. So in the contract it said I'll get to see the final thing of the documentary and stuff. Yeah,
Final
final
cut.
cut. So when it came out, I told Craig, for one, I hate the name Lee versus Bodybuilding. It's just like a shit name. I hate it. And then even when you hear, you interviewed two of my training partners, Matthew and Adam, who I trained with every day since I've been home, since I moved back in 08, actually interviewed them in my backyard. They were not in the video. None of these people are in my documentary who actually knew me. So I said, look, I don't like it. Why can't you put them in? Put them in. There's a guy that I went to school with that owns a big company that has a gym here that I train at. They interviewed him for a long time, and he's talking about the stuff we do at his gym with charities and stuff. That wasn't in it. They had Lee Priest second in this contest, Lee Priest second in that contest. They had 5 pro wins. Not one win was in the documentary. So it's like I said, I don't like it. It's shit. And Lee, let me talk to the editor. Oh, no, the editor said they can't do nothing about it. I said, oh, well.
Well, but hold on, Lee, doesn't the editor work for Vlad over there at Generation Iron?
Yeah.
Isn't that where it gets edited? So why couldn't they change it? Well, they didn't want to change it, is what they were saying.
I guess they didn't want to change it. They wanted to change it like, here's Lee, angry at bodybuilding, angry at the world. He's always got second place, and he doesn't win anything till he gets to the universe in 2013. So when I told him I wasn't happy with it, it didn't show me. You've left out my training partners and friends that know me.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, spoke to the editor. That's it. That's all we can do about it. I said, well, change the name. No, that's the name they're going with. So I had no say in the final thing whatsoever.
Did you have a contract with them?
Yeah, I had a contract, yes, but still they said I could get final say and see it before it was to be released. And when I told them the bits I want changed, I was told, no, that can't change.
Wow. What was what'd you get paid for that?
$7,000.
Okay, so that's a lot of money. That's a good amount of money. So I guess they felt that. What?
I don't get any percentages after that. It's just the $7,000.
Right. Well, I mean, you signed a contract,
and
so I understand.
Even getting that took a long time to get it. They're almost here, and I hadn't got paid because it said when I get here, I'll get the other half.
Right.
And they started filming. I said, I'm not going to film any more till I get paid the other half. And there's a lot of phone calls going back and forth. I said, listen, we can stop filming right now, or you're going to waste your time coming to Australia. And then you haven't. Like I said, they come into my family, Craig, and that they're accepted, and he hung out with me forever, and this sort of stuff. And to say that I was a bull, there's one thing I can say. When my mother told me, because this is what they're going on, that my father being gay, and some kids at school go, Lee, you're a fag like your dad, which I just laughed at, and that sort of thing. It's like I was probably 10 or 11 when I got told, and I was like, okay, whatever, doesn't bother me. But the thing was, they don't understand. My father being gay, she might have told me on Monday, that weekend I was at my dad's house staying with him. It didn't bother me. But him being gay, I had a cousin that was a transsexual. What this did teach me was, though, no matter how people are, whether they're gay, black, white, religious, I accepted everybody, because I'd meet all my dad's gay friends. I'd come over for barbecues. They'd have kids, would hang out. And they were some of the nicest, down-to-earth people you'd ever meet. My cousin's transsexual friends would come up from Sydney when I was with my grandparents. I'd come up for dinner at my grandparents' house. And my grandparents, they leave a key in the front door. Everyone's welcome. And I've said it before, my grandfather's the type of guy, if I said Adolf Hitler was an asshole, he'd be like, no, there's probably some good in him somewhere. My grandfather would find the good in anyone. So having a gay father and meeting all these different types of people at such a young age made me accept everybody. It never made me a bully. It never made me, I hate these people, hate that people. It made me more accepting, because it didn't matter, like I said, what race you were, what religion you were, what sexual orientation you were. I accepted everybody. If you treat me nice, I treated you nice. It was as simple as that. And that's the thing with Generation 9. They keep bringing up my name. Bob brings up my name. In all my interviews, you've never seen me come out and just attack someone. It'll always be like, you'll ask me, did you see what Sean Ray said about you? Did you see? And I'll respond. So if you're going to talk shit about me, yes, I'm going to respond. But don't get butthurt when I tell the fucking truth and respond to your bullshit.
I think that the truth hurts, and people don't like that. But you know what the truth is? If I'm Generation Iron, I'm paying Lee Priest a lot of money, right? They have an investment in this. That was $7,000 is not a chump change. You would think that I want to make you happy with the final product so that you go out and promote it for me so that I can sell copies of this thing, because that's how they're making their money back. why they would want to antagonize you and have you not be happy with the final outcome is ridiculous, because we know that they probably had tons of footage that they could have re-edited that piece with and made you happy and them happy. They could have kept Jay in there and still put other people in there, you know?
Well, I have an idea about that, though.
Only an hour 24 long, the 2 hours or more, if you're going to tell someone's whole life story type thing, you know, like the Chris Cormier documentary. They interviewed fellow competitors, friends, family, everyone. It got in depth. It actually showed who he was.
That was good. That was a really good one they did.
Yeah, it was a great one. So, you know, I wanted to be like that, where it showed you who I really was.
Well, they wanted to make you paint you as this like demented bad guy. That's why, you know, that's why.
Exactly. So it was just like I said, whenever I do reply on something, they say this is why, but now the analytical sort of thing they say of this is why, because I was bullied. The reason I got into bodybuilding was because I wanted to look like He-Man. I wasn't like, oh, I've been picked on, I want to be a big muscular man.
But you're not but hold on, you could be, but Lee, you could be bullied, okay? But that doesn't mean you're going to be a bully. I don't see any evidence of you being a bully. If anything, you champion the underdog to the point of actually causing yourself to lose money and to get in trouble, because you'll defend every underdog that you ever see. Wherever you see injustice, you seem to just throw caution to the wind and go on the side of the underdog. And if that's not a bully, that's the opposite. I've
always done that. Exactly. I've always done that when it came to anything. I always hated anyone that talked down to somebody else or put themselves above. Because to me, no matter what you were, if I'm a pro bodybuilder, you're a jandler, or if there's a pro football player, to me, everyone's on the same play field. Right. Just because you've got a different job or a different lifestyle doesn't make you a better person than anybody else. We're all great at what we do. And I've always said it in every interview from day one. Because I was a pro bodybuilder, doesn't make me any better than you or Rob. If you love going to the gym, I'm the same. I love going to the gym. I had a pro card. Whoopie fucking do. That doesn't make me better than you or anybody else in the gym. I was lucky enough to have the genetics to get a pro card, but I don't say I'm a pro bodybuilder. Fucking get out the way. Look at me. I'm Lee Priest. I'm the opposite. When people say, oh, you're Lee Priest, I'm just like, hey, I'm just Lee. Rob can tell you, I'm a big fucking idiot when it comes to anything. There
was a bunch of people in Venice who act like that, and Lee was not one. I'll tell you a story early on when I first met Lee, and I was working at Max Muscle back when it was on Abbott Kinney, before Abbott Kinney turned into what it is now. It was a liquor store next door.
Before you start, Rob, can you believe that dirtbag street of bums is like Rodeo Drive now? Can you believe it?
It pains me. I really, because I don't go to Gold's Venice anymore. Yeah. I really, really have to get myself up just to drive down Abbott Kinney anymore. I liked it so much better when the V13 and the Shoreline Crips were warring, and almost nobody was on that street except us, and we were right there on the corner of Venice and Abbott Kinney. You know, it's bananas now. But I can remember one day, because Max Muscle was a spot where everybody would come and hang out.
Right.
And Lee pulls up, he gets out, and he sticks his head in the door. Hey, Lee, what's going on? And he says, hey, what's going on? He stands there for a second, and then he walks. He says, I'm going next door. Now, Lee's legendary fucking off-season size with the big-ass beard and, everything. He goes next door. What he was doing when he walked in, he counted everybody that was in there. He goes next door and buys Haagen-Dazs bars for everybody in there and comes in, doles out Haagen-Dazs. He says, you're not dieting, are you? Good. Bang. Everybody's eating Haagen-Dazs bars. On Lee Priest. He did that on several different occasions. It wasn't always Haagen-Dazs bars, but it was something.
Right.
That's how he was.
And you know why I used to do that was, this goes back to when I was at school. And in the old days, you could buy a bag of mixed lollies for like 50 cents and you get a full bag of lollies. I remember one day I was sitting in my classroom at the back of class and I felt like some lollies, so I started eating them. And the teacher's like, do you have enough for everybody or you can't eat them? And I'm like, I'm looking around, I'm like,
I actually do.
No, I don't. No, I didn't. So, and I felt that bad. I went, well, you know what? I'm going to fucking show you. From that day on, I'd bring the biggest bag of lollies. I'd start eating them. She's like, do you have enough for everyone? I'm like, yeah, I do. And
Yeah.
You see, you're bullying the teacher right there. You were bullying the teacher.
So I'd hand out lollies, and she's like, if you're being smart, get out of the room. I said, can I take my lollies with me?
Lee is anti-establishment. That's what he is. He's not a bully. He's anti-establishment. So if the establishment is putting forth stuff that's not just in his mind, then he will rebel against it. So if anything, he's a rebel. He's not a bully. There's a big difference because rebels are respected. Rebels are respected by the general public. Bullies are hated. You're not a. You're probably one of the most loved guys in all bodybuilding. Well, I mean, there's not a video. They destroyed Generation Iron on the comments. Okay, on their own site.
Yeah. My friend had been sending me the comments because on the Instagram page I'm blocking that. But yeah, I think there's one guy on there that hates me. He comments on RX all the time. That
there's always going to be one idiot.
He's like Kai Green blocked him, Dorian's blocked him, Fifas blocked me. And I took snapshots. None of them have blocked me. Dorian occasionally.
What's that noise? It sounds like someone's stomach is growling. Is that you, Lee?
Oh, sorry. I got a bulldog and he's snoring. Sorry about that.
It sounds like there's someone dying in the background or something like that. I thought Lee's stomach was turning from all those Haagen-Dazs bars.
Sorry about that.
That's my bully dog. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, shit. I know, right? Let me kick him out. Hang on.
People are gonna be like, this audio sucks on this show. So what was your mom? I read your mom's response. Obviously, she was very upset that they kind of try to use her against you because you have a relationship with your mom. And Lee sent me the text. What did she post that on Instagram? On Facebook?
She posted it on Facebook under where I put that link of what Generation Iron said.
Very good, very good.
Then I just put it up so people wouldn't miss it in case right. Stuff. But
sorry about that.
The majority of the comments that have backfired on Generation Iron because you're going to like me or hate me, but I've always been truthful. That's the one thing my mother instilled in me: always be truthful, always be truthful. And she'd say, Lee, you're truthful to a point where maybe you could tell a little white lie, but if someone, and that's what I hated in bodybuilding from day one when I get labelled the bad boy of bodybuilding. I'd always be confused because being taught to tell the truth and that, okay, some people don't like, but thinking, since when has being truthful made you a bad person? It's like, what would you rather, just be fake and lie and go into all the bullshit like everybody else? But since when is telling the truth being such a bad thing? At this day and age, it seems like it is.
It used to be a bad thing depending on who it was in Venice back in the day, as you well know.
I just got to grab something. Hold on, keep talking. I just got to grab something.
Yeah.
He's going to probably put a Darth Vader mask on or something like that.
I mean, shit. There was plenty of guys who didn't lie. I can remember Lee would pop off about something, and I would always look and say, man, he ain't lying, because I was the same way.
Yeah.
It's funny enough, Rico, Flex and Chris Cormier's training partner, he gave me a nickname back in the day. He used to call me Gossip Rob.
I've actually heard. Now I know who you are. I remember.
Which may or may not be accurate, but here's the funny part. I never solicited any information. I just sat in my store and sold supplements and clothes, and people would come in and say, dude, let me tell you what just happened at the gym.
Right.
And so that's how.
I remember.
I remember going in there and now that I remember you, because now I remember you from the store, you knew everything about everyone. You could go in there and you bring up any person, you knew every fucking storyline because these guys would go in there and hang out all day and just chat with you. So
and just come and hang out.
Yeah. Because I'd sit there some days and fans would come in, tourists would come in. But it's almost like, when you did a hairdresser and you just start talking to the barber.
You can't stop. It's like you can't stop. You have to.
Exactly.
I want to show you this. When Craig from Generation Iron come over here and filmed this, he gave me this piece of money from the Cayman Islands. I think that's where he's originally from. Mm-hmm. And he wrote on it. He wrote on this here.
Read it. I can't see it.
Just before he left. To Lee. The most honest person I have ever met. One love and much respect, Craig, from Craig. See that to the most honest person I have ever met.
Right.
And we got on great. And one of the first things he said to me when filming was, Lee, I don't know why you get such bad rap. You're so down to earth. I've heard this about you, heard that about you. And now, I feel sorry for Craig because he's got to work with that Vlad the Impaler. And I guess he's got to go along with everything else. But the thing was, Generation in the beginning had a good platform where they could have been something great. The movies sucked a bit, but now it's just like gutter trash. It's like the National Enquirer of bodybuilding. It's like, I don't know why people follow them. They're just rehash stories. Half the headlines are clickbait. When you got so many good things like your station, you got Nick's Strength for Power. Even though we left MD, sometimes Ron doesn't do a bad job. But Generation I, it's almost like when I hear Vlad talking and some of the stuff he puts up, it's almost like these movie reviewers. It's like they're like failed actors. It's like they wanted to be a superstar in the movies, but because I wasn't a superstar, I'm going to trash every movie star, and this movie sucked. Right. He's a shitty actor. So it's almost like Vlad was failed at something, and he's just angry at the bodybuilding world, and he just fucking puts it down and puts it in a... Look, anyone that puts on a stupid fucking documentary of Tony fucking Huge, or everyone standing in a circle, giving each other injections and shit, and he goes, doing this to show the truth of bodybuilding. That's not the truth of bodybuilding. No. It's the truth of a fucking dickhead and his mates standing in a jerk circle injecting each other.
Really.
What he should have done is he should have just stuck to doing real high-end documentaries on bodybuilders, like the Cormier one, like the Ronnie one. You know why? Because no one else is doing them, because the general public doesn't care. But there's enough people that are bodybuilding fans that will watch these things, and they'd be better off being high end. I would have rather than a controversial Lee Priest documentary. We already know you're controversial. I want to see what makes you tick. They should have just gone back behind the scenes and found out, from your childhood up through the present, from your friends, from the people who knew you best, like you said, and that would have been way more interesting than them trying to make you into this character that hated bodybuilding, which was not true.
Well, that's how I wanted to be. I wanted to be like from my young years all the way through to how I
It should have been like Cormier's documentary,
Well, the good thing was they didn't do Cormier's. That's why it was so good. The guys here in Australia did the Cormier documentary, and at the moment I'm in talks with them too.
Oh, that's right. That wasn't Generation Iron, right?
No, that's why it was so good.
They did a good job. They did a good job on the Ronnie. Was that the Ronnie Coleman one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but the thing I don't get with Generation Iron is too. They show them irrelevant for one, but they've had Bob on. They had Danny Hester on not long ago. It seems like whenever they have somebody on, they've always got to throw in a Lee Priest question somewhere to try and get this. Was Lee this? Was Lee that? Come on, give us something on Lee that we can run with or something. It's like all this stuff has been done to death. And now
you know why they do that, Lee? Because you're one of the most popular people in the bodybuilding world. So they figure if they mention you, they can use it as clickbait to get people to watch the documentary, which is, once again, goes back to the original statement I made. Why make you angry at the documentary? If you don't like it, work with you to change it. What's the difference? Why put out a product that you're not going to get behind and promote for them? It was the stupidest thing they could have possibly done. Now they are in a war with you, which they're going to lose because you have so many fans out there that love you and that will defend you to the grave. They will destroy Generation Iron comment-wise just because they're attacking you now. It's the stupidest strategy I've ever seen.
But it's like Rob has seen me in real life, how I'm around people. Like, yeah, okay, I might come on RX Iron Rage and go off, like I said, like when you see Howard Stern on the radio.
Yeah, well, that's what the show's for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People see me on Iron Rage. When I'm on Iron Rage, I go on and rant and stuff just for fun. But then if I'm on another radio show doing an interview, I'm a totally different person again. Right. Now, Rob's seen me in real life. He's come to my house. We've been on barbecues. We've hung out. We've trained. We've done this and
everything.
So when it comes down to Lee's a bully and stuff, like I said, my father being gay, meeting people who are into. That's why from a young age too, I get so annoyed when they were trying to bring out gay marriage, because my father's been with his same partner now for over 35 years, and I would live with people. Why can't they get married? Because it ain't right. I'm like, mate, I've been there and lived there. It'd be like gay people can't raise kids because their kids will end up gay. No, they won't. And nearly all my friends, all my father's friends had children. None of them turned out gay. They turned out very successful and married to people of the opposite sex. So when I hear all these arguments, I get so mad because you people are just talking shit. You know, I've actually been around all these people at home. So like, I've always been open to anything. I don't care what somebody is. So it didn't make me a bully or anything.
They got upset by the fact that you called them out on the last thing after they did that Chickarilla piece, which was
basically
it was clickbait. And so once you went on that rampage against them, now they went into the archives and they pulled up, they had to go looking for footage to like show that you're a bad person and that maybe you have like mental problems. So they find this piece by your mother.
I do have mental problems.
Yeah, of course you do. We all do. But I'm saying they have to find a piece by your mother. I mean, how low do you have to go? I'm going to get Lee's mom to like try to crucify her son, like to prove a point. I mean, that's a low blow.
But she didn't even say. She goes,
no, she didn't even say anything bad. She just told the story that you were.
She just told the story of his life at that point.
Yeah.
It would have been different then, she goes, and after Lee got bullied, for years he was terrible. He'd go around beating people up, gay bashing, being a bully. If he did that, it'd be different. And it's like the whole, after the Bob thing where they put in that I was a bully and I was racist and stuff. It's like I said before, when I'm on here doing stuff, I'll tell jokes about any race, religion, whatever. I got friends that are super religious. I love giving them a hard time with religious jokes, but they know me. Rob knows me. If I tell a racial joke, we laugh about it. It's not like I'm actually abusing someone of a different race. They're jokes. It's like all these, I said, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but look at all these comedians that just make fun of everyday things in life. That's all it is. But these people
look at Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah.
She's not a racist, but she makes fun of all the races. I mean, that's her shtick,
Exactly.
The funny part about it is I spent 25 years in Gold's Gym Venice. Of all the bodybuilders that I met, from Serge Nubray to Lee and everybody in between, he's, with the exception of the older guys like Serge and Rory and some guys like that, of my age group, he was the most solid guy of everybody I met in that gym.
Yeah.
And I'm talking Paul Dillette, Chris, Flex, you name it. He was just a nice guy, was always pleasant to be around.
What you see is what you get with Lee. That's really what it amounts to.
Melvin Anthony even tells a story when he just turned pro and he was down on his luck, had no money. I took him home, gave him all his supplements, gave him food out of my fridge and stuff like that, because that's what us racers do,
That's cool. I didn't know you did that.
I remember Melvin talking about that and saying, man, Lee is a solid dude, man. He's cool. And he was like, kind of like dumbfounded, because before that, he was with John Brown. John Brown was the one who initially put him on, and then John went his own way and Melvin was kind of left on his own.
Right.
And I was even with the whole thing where they tried to make out where I tried to start this union. Rob could tell you, because I used to say to him all the time, I said, I never wanted to start a union. When I say I want a lot of guys to stand together and unionize, it's like I'm so sick of hearing them bitching backstage. Rob would hear them bitch about their placings in the store. I'm like, guys, we have the power if we stand together. I didn't want to be a union or be head of a union, because everyone probably hates the cunt that runs the union, because no one's ever going to like the guy at the top. So
exactly.
I just wanted individuals to find their balls, stand together and say, listen, we don't like this. Yes, promoters have to make money, but okay, you make your money, but we'd like this changed and these little things changed. To make
and a little bit of respect.
Sport. Exactly, respect. It's like, that's all I asked for. And I just wanted the guys to stand together and do that. And a lot of guys would be like, no, we can't do this. And then, wasn't it that not long ago, Bob Ciccarello was saying Lee was never suspended for life? He just said that to get sympathy and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then Vlad's on there saying how when I was suspended, cause it isn't cause of that, when Lee got suspended for life from the IFBB, which is it? You see, that's the thing. Rob can tell you from day one to now, my story has never changed. I tell the truth. You don't have to remember fucking lies. All I have to do is tell my truth all the time. And people say, but Lee, you said this 10 years ago. Yeah, because it's the truth. I'm not making up bullshit. I don't have to go, fuck, what did I say to him? And then say something else. And I go, well, wait a minute. You said this, that. No.
Mark Twain said, if you tell the truth, then you don't ever have to remember anything.
And the worst thing was, I get, hey, Rob could probably tell me too truthful something. Some of those MD interviews where I talked about sex life, this, and people go, Lee, you shouldn't have said that. But I've always been the person, look, I don't give a fuck. I've told you before, if I sucked a dick and you said, Lee, if you sucked a dick, I'd say, yeah, I've sucked a dick. It doesn't bother me. It's like, if I done it, I don't care. It's like, the thing is, I would tell you because I've always been the type of person, if I've done something and you ask me, I'll tell you. I don't want you hearing it from somebody else or somebody making up a rumor. So at the time someone goes, hey, Rob, did you hear Lee sucked a dick? Rob would be like, oh, fuck you. You told me years ago. So I've always been up front. If I'm the first, I'll just tell it as it is. And that's what I said. I'm truthful to a fault where sometimes I've upset people I'm with because they're like, Lee, you shouldn't have said that. But I'm like, well, they asked me. I don't want to lie about it. And I'd rather them hear it from me than somebody else. So
than somebody else. Yeah.
I got nothing to hide. So it's just the thing. It's like the crazy stuff.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got to talk to you, Rob, on this little extra little format show we did here. And I wanted to give Lee a chance to just kind of, respond to, look, when someone puts your mom up, it's like that's
that's the lowest of the low.
Yeah. I mean, it's like trying to get an ex-girlfriend to to say something about you. I mean, it's just stupid. It's like, you don't go to personal life. Yeah. You don't go into someone's personal life. I mean, if you have to go that low, you really must be like, your ego must really be bruised to do that. Like,
But the funny part about it is, it's like, if you know Lee, bully would never come into my mind.
Find somebody bullied. How about that? Find somebody bullied and get him on the show. That's what you do.
Well, this is the thing. See, I sent you that text too, Dave, saying anytime Vlad wants, he's welcome to come on to RX Live because, if you ever went on their show, they would edit and chop that thing and be like a bloody CNN report about Donald Trump by the time it comes out. So like, if Vlad wants to come on live and, talking to Vlad is like talking to this wall behind me. It's like watching paint dry. It's like the fucking personality of a brick. But, I can't work it out whether, yes, he likes the clickbaits and like that. But then when I see Vlad, I've never seen him with a girl. So maybe my dad being gay, maybe he's upset I didn't turn out gay. Maybe Vlad wanted that reach around from Lee Priest or the fucking stroking because, if you want Vlad, I can go ask my father what's the best way and stuff to give you some tips. But hey, I don't know. But look, how many times have I used to make jokes with my father. I used to say to him all the time, Dad, because, when my mum met my father, she had an inkling he was gay, but they were really religious back then. And in the church, the church can change you, get you on the straight and narrow. So they got married and had my sister and then me. And then, he just had to be truthful with himself and I'm gay. So he got kicked out of the church and stuff. But I used to tell him all the time. I used to say to Dad all the time, can you imagine if you never met my mum when you did, I could have been wasted on a blowjob or something.
True. It goes back. I don't want to continuously bash anyone because I think what Generation Iron has initially got started doing was good, and I think what happened.
I agree.
What you pointed out, Lee, was that they started going for the clickbait stuff and trying to sensationalize the documentaries they do, and I think what it's doing, it's just cheapening it, and it's not. I don't think the fans appreciate it. I don't think they're getting. They want to watch it anymore. If anything, I think they're getting turned off by it. So,
that's the thing. It's almost like
let me just finish. So you have a way when you see something that's not authentic, you like to call it out right away. Except you do it in such an attack mode, and you do it in such a funny way that if a person has a fragile ego, they're going to take it really personally. And I think Vlad took it very personally. And I don't think it was meant. I don't think you meant that I don't like Vlad. I don't think Vlad's a good person. I think you just said, hey, I don't like what he did to my documentary. I talked to him and they promised me this and they didn't deliver. And when you feel like that you have been lied to, that's the worst thing you could do to Lee Priest. You might as well just punch him in the face at that point. And that's really where that came from, I think.
Well, Vlad being Vlad and Vlad the Impaler, maybe he's upset he can't go out in the sunlight, he can't eat garlic. I don't know what's wrong with him, but it's the thing was, like I said, it started off good, but now all this stuff, like even with the like I said, we know there's drugs in bodybuilding. We've known it from day one.
Sure.
This whole Tony Huge thing, that's when it started, even before then, on the real deep slope, because showing guys injecting themselves, injecting in restaurants, this and that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
There's drugs in other sports. You're not going to see any other sport doing that. And just imagine now, some big mainstream company would want to come into bodybuilding. They go, okay, what's this sport about? Here's a few different tapes on it. Let me watch a few.
Well, you saw his. Did you see his thing about Tito Ortiz saying that he didn't, was all anti-drugs?
Oh, really? I didn't see that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the whole thing, like you'd see Ronnie Coleman go, this is really good, but then you'd start getting into some of the Generation Iron stuff with the Tony and that, and then his sponsor would be like, hell, shit, we ain't going anywhere near this.
Right. But he should have. But all the stuff should be Ronnie Coleman stuff. That's the type of stuff they should do, because that is what people like to watch in a documentary. I don't like to watch bullshit documentaries.
And half these people he puts on there, okay, Tony Hughes or anybody. Who is Tony Hughes? He's just another guy that likes to inject a lot of shit and done nothing. It's like, keep the true people who are in the sport, who have done something, who have won contests, who are actually people in the sport.
Or who have an interesting story. How about that? Find the people that have. There are guys that have never won a pro show that have a really interesting story. They've overcome a lot of odds. When I interviewed Tony Pearson, what a story that guy's had. I mean, he was abused as a kid. I mean, it's amazing the guy made it to where he is. That's the documentary you want to make, not Tony Hughes.
I can see it now. The next one that's going to be, he'll be sitting in a jail interviewing the fucking Tiger King. Yeah, Tiger King.
That might be interesting, though, at least. That's a true story.
Shit, I at least thought you were going to say Craig Titus.
You can't make that shit up. Yeah, Craig Titus could be a good one.
It'll be like now Tiger King, what do you think of Lee Priest? Do you?
Did you ever give Lee Priest dad a blowjob, Tiger King? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Do you think Lee Priest killed that woman's husband because he is a bully and he does? That's like.
I want to say this about the whole Generation Iron thing. Look, at first I thought it was good, but right at the end of that movie, when he had that cornball scene of doggone it, what's his name? The Gift.
Phil Heath.
Help me out. Phil Heath. Running down a mountain road. Well, we know goddamn well ain't no bodybuilder that big running, and definitely not on a mountain road. No. I was like, come on, man, what is this?
Yeah, it was like right there.
That's when the guy kind of lost me. I was like, come on, man.
I used to get in trouble for saying that. I said, since when does a bodybuilder run around the fucking mountains in Colorado? Come on. He looked like nothing against Phil, but it looked like a wounded gazelle trying to get up a hill. It's like, us bodybuilders don't run. Maybe a short sprint, but we've all seen what happened to Stridham and Banu and all these guys.
I was just about to say. Because they both pulled up lame.
I did a movie probably. I have to send you the thing. I got all my face done up because I had to get shot with a shotgun and stuff. And in one of the scenes, the guy beats me with a shovel. I get up and I start running. He's chasing me with the shovel across the scene. We had to retake this scene over and over. And after like the 8th time taking it, whack, there goes my fucking hammy.
Oh, you pulled your hamstring?
I don't think I can run anymore. They're like, okay, we'll just run at half pace and we can speed it up. And then Frank, the guy behind me, the hitman that's trying to kill me, I hear, fuck, he pulled his hammy. So now we're both fucking trying to run and limp back. And then after he hits me with the shovel, he's got to drag me back to this big hole and blast me with a shotgun. But he's trying to pull me across the scene. He's like, fucking hell, my fucking hamstring is like this. And as he's pulling my don't pull my hamstring too hard.
Yeah, I tell bodybuilders, don't do anything other than lift weights. Don't play volleyball. Don't go play softball. Nothing. We're not functional.
No dynamic movement.
We're not functional, right? We're not.
No dynamic movement.
Here's the big one. Don't help your mates move further because you look strong, but lifting that shit. Trust me, I tore a shoulder bicep doing that. So that's the thing too. It's like lifting.
Yeah, I had to move my house. I didn't lift one. I had like 10 guys, like bodybuilders over there that I was helping with like diets. Asked them, I didn't do one thing. They're like, are you going to lift anything? I said, no, I'm in charge here. That's
it.
Because I know I would have hurt myself. I knew it.
I go to grab the big screen TV, stretch my arms out, lift it, rip goes the bicep off the shoulder.
Did you tear your bicep by way?
That was back in 08, yeah, because I had the TV, and as I was lifting it up, I was slipping, so I turned my hands that way to pull it out of the box. As soon as I pulled it, just popped straight off, and I'm thinking, the TV probably weighs 120 pounds. All the weights I've lifted.
Because it's
Exactly.
awkward. It's an awkward lift. It's an
awkward angle, and there it goes.
Yeah. What about Banu? We had another time with Samir Banu in Gold's Gym, got into a fight, went to throw a punch, tore his tricep.
Oh, did he really? Oh, shit. I didn't know that. Who was he fighting with?
I have to ask him. I can't remember who he went to hit, but he went to hit someone, and because he snapped it out, the punch, and he tore his triceps.
Yeah, your bodybuilders should not be fighting either. That's another thing that they shouldn't be doing.
Well, that's the funny thing.
No.
Well, don't fight viruses, but I did work out the other day, police are immune to this virus because here in Australia, people are getting tickets for going out in the parks, doing whatever, but the police are tackling them on the ground and rolling around them. I'm thinking, if this virus is so bad, if I was sitting there with blood, instead I had AIDS, you wouldn't come near me.
Right.
Yet they're rolling with these people to handcuff them.
So stupid, yeah.
The police
it's ridiculous.
Well, there's a thing on TV the other day, two guys in line, this social distancing.
Yeah.
They're in line, and all of a sudden it was on the news, this guy, too close, fuck you, too close. Next thing, they're on the ground, rolling around, wrestling, fighting. I'm like, a second ago you're worried about being too close to each other. Yeah. Now you're on top of each other. Like, you may as well just stick your dick in while you're down there and go for it.
There's Lee going at the bullying and the racism again.
Oh, that's right. And and picking on homosexuals because my dad was gay. I hate them all. Death.
Well, Rob,
I just realized all these years I've known Rob, he's black.
Holy mackerel! What were you doing being friends with that guy, man?
Right? It's funny because when Lee,
wait till I go through my friends list right now. You're on the Christmas list, Rob.
When Lee was in town, in last summer, I came down to meet him, and he was with black people at the boardwalk in Santa Monica.
I actually hear that he doesn't like white people is really what it is. That's what they think he's not a black racist, he's a white racist. He doesn't like
them
the
white
people.
fucking blue-eyed devil cracker motherfuckers. I fucking hate them. fucking bread. I know it's not that late it's early in the morning there over there in Australia, but I know in California it's out there. It's 3:15 in the afternoon here.
Oh, it is. Well, I got to go to sleep. I got to do work still, so it's like 1 a.m. I appreciate you taking time, though, Lee, and thank you, Rob, for joining us and letting us know that
thank you for
Lee
having me.
Actually, is a racist and a bully. That was nice of you to confirm that.
Yeah, man, this is stupid. This is stupid, and this is somebody with some hurt feelings trying to smash somebody, and it's not cool, and it's not working.
Yeah, no.
I'm only on here talking to you because I'm bored. I fucking hate the two of you. Go get fucked. Bully.
Yeah, when we hang up, Lee's gonna go post some crap on the Facebook.
You fucking Palumboism, you fucking bald head motherfucker.
There you go. That's right. Thank you. I feel better now that Lee insulted me. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this. We're gonna wrap this racist bully fest up right now. Thank you, Rob, for joining us. Lee, of course.
Thank you for having me.
Talking to you. We'll talk to you next week on Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo for an RX Muscle special report.
Love everybody.